Hi guys, happy Sunday. We have another episode of STEM Sundays with Emily. It is the last weekend in April, so we're doing snap circuits again today. So as always, we've been doing snap circuits on the last Sunday of the month, and this month is no different. So I picked out one activity this time. It does have a bit more pieces than the last few projects we've done, so it is going to take a little bit longer just for the one activity. But this activity is pretty cool because just a few changes to our connector pieces can unlock, I think, 4 different projects too. So on your own at home, there are 4 follow-up projects, but we're just going to set up the one today during the video. So let's get right into it because, like I said, it is a little bit longer of an activity, but I think it's one that's really cool for you guys at home. So let's open up our kit. If you guys have been doing the last few videos, this should be getting to be second nature by now, but if not, remember there is the map of pieces included. I'm going to set that off to the side. We have our book that I'll be using to follow along with today, and then our kit here. So I'm going to put the kit off to the side. I'm going to open up our book to the activity that we're doing, and just like that, we're going to find the project. So here it is. It's number 27. It's called Clap Sounds right here on this page. So as you can see on the page, and if not, I'll show you right here, we're going to be setting up this top activity. But as you can see on the bottom, there are 4 follow-up activities that you can do that all utilize this same setup, just changing a few pieces. So at the very end, I'll give you a little bit of some tips and tricks on how to set these next 4 projects up if you want to carry on. But for now, we're just going to set up the model as shown here in this top corner. So I'm going to lay mine right in front of me, and let's get to building. So like I said, if you guys have followed along with me, this might become second nature, but if not, there are 2 things that we'll always use in every single one of these snap circuits projects. So the first is this plastic mat. So this is what we'll put all of our circuits on, and again, the different circuitry pieces snap right in. Snap circuits, that's why it's called that. So these little bumps will snap right into the pieces. There are little divots inside, so they'll snap right on. And the thing I love about the Snap Circuits kit is that it's made for transportation, and once you get things snapped in, they won't fall off easily. So this makes this kit great for kids because even if it falls down or if you go to move it and it tips over, you should be fine with your circuit, and none of the pieces will fall off as if you were doing them on the table. They'll snap right in, so it's very easy to use. So every activity uses this mat. There are numbers at the top, which might be hard to see in the video, and letters down the side that correspond to the book. It tells you exactly where to put each piece. So again, makes it very easy to understand and easy to set up these circuits. So we'll start with our plastic mat, you guys can see. And then the second piece that we're going to use in every single activity is the battery. So one of the key things in circuitry is that if you don't have an energy source, you're not going to have any electricity. So for us, we're using the battery. If you haven't used your kit before, you will have to get 2 AA batteries. It does not come included. But again, our battery, and this will be used in every single one of the activities in this book, no matter which one you choose to do. So these 2 always included, and you'll always need them. So those are always the first 2 pieces you'll want to get out. So following along with our book, mine is right in front of me, so I'll be referencing it as we go along. We're going to need to put the battery with the batteries oriented on the bottom, just like this, and that will be placed on E7, the top corner. So where the minus sign is on the battery, we're going to line that up with E7. Perfect. And again, like you can see, it snaps right in. So even if you were to try to get it off, it won't come off. Snap circuits. So again, if you haven't done these before, looking at the book, there are a few numbers labeled in black that show you which level each piece is going to go on. So you can see there's a lot of pieces that we're going to be putting on today, but if you follow along with me, I'll be placing them as the book is shown, and we'll make sure that each piece goes on the right level. So we do have 2 levels here today, and first we're going to lay out the level 1 pieces. So I'm going to try and go in a clockwise motion around, starting at the battery to make things easy for you guys. So the first piece on level 1 is going to be the 5-piece connector. So in your kit, it's going to be at the very bottom with the 6-piece connector, which we'll also need for this project. So here's our 5-piece connector, and I like to think about these as wires. So there's nothing really special about them. They just allow the electricity to be transferred through them and to the next piece. So like a lamp, I always use this reference, like a lamp, these connector pieces just act as the wire between the outlet and the light bulb. So we're going to be placing our number 5 piece starting at E1. So E1 snaps right in. Didn't make a good snapping noise, but you can see right there, E1 lines up with our battery. So next piece is going to be the U1 music piece. So that's located in the top left corner. It's this big blue box, U1. And we're going to place the top left corner on C1. So it should be right above your number 5 connector piece. There we go, at C1. Now the next piece looks like it's going to be this number 6 connector piece. So again, just another wire, as I like to say, and this goes on A1. And we'll extend all the way across the top over to A6. Perfect. The next piece on level 1 is going to be the number 4 connector piece. So as you can see, there are a lot of connecting pieces here. There are a lot of pieces in general, but each of them have to be connected somehow. So that's why we're using a bunch of these connector pieces. So here's our number 4 connector, and that's going to be placed, the far right edge we're going to place on A10. So it's going to actually go right next to your number 6 piece. There is just that little gap in between right here, but otherwise our whole top row is covered in connector pieces. Next is going to be our switch. So this is in the very top row. If I can get it out. S1, it looks like a little light switch. And that's gonna go, I'm gonna orient it just as it's shown in the book. So the on side is going to be faced up, the off side is going to be facing down. Doesn't really matter which way you orient it, but I like to always make it look like the picture shown in the book just in case, because there is a possibility, depending on which pieces you use, to mess up the circuit and not make it exactly right depending on the orientation of each piece. So a good rule of thumb that I like to use is just to follow exactly like it's shown in the program book, and you should be good to go. So that piece is going to go on B9. So we'll put the on side lined up with B9, right in line with our battery and right below our number 4 connector piece. There we go. And as a good rule of thumb, make sure that your switch is turned off. It's always good to, before we start playing around with the circuits, that all of our pieces that have the option to be turned on and off are always in the off position to begin with. So next is a new piece that we haven't used along with this U1 music piece is our speaker. So we are going to be making some sounds today with this circuit, and the speaker just helps amplify the noises. So this piece actually is one of the only ones that sits standing up. So it is going to snap in just like this, and that's going to go right next to our S1 switch. So again, it doesn't matter whether it's oriented with the speaker facing this way or inwards towards our circuit. I'm going to face it outside just so I can hear the music this way, but again, totally doesn't matter which way this is oriented, and that's going to go on B8. So again, right next to our S1 switch, and as you can see, it stands up, so it does look a little bit funny next to all of our other pieces, but that's the way it's meant to go. So the last piece on level 1 is going to be the U2 alarm box. So just another thing that's going to help make some noises with this circuit, and that's going to be placed directly next to our U1 music box at C4. So as you can see, snap that guy in. Here's what our level 1 looks like. So we have our battery, we have our connector piece, blue music box, connector piece, switch, speaker, and then our alarm box in red. So those are all the pieces on level 1. Now we're going to move on to level 2, and that should be all of the pieces once we get level 2 set up. So again, I'll work my way sort of clockwise. I don't think I did the best job of it last time, but this alarm box was kind of in the middle. So starting with our battery, the first piece, moving clockwise, is going to be a number 3 connector piece. So there are a few locations you can grab the 3 connector piece from in your box, but easy to find just based on this number 3 in the middle. And that's going to go at the negative battery side and connect to our number 5 connector piece. Snap, snap, and that goes right here. So as you can see, just looking at the side view, it is a little bit elevated, and that just means we're on level 2, which is exactly what we want to see. So next, moving clockwise, we're going to need a little baby number 2 connector. Again, easy to find with the number 2. And that's going to connect our number 5 connector piece with our music box, U1. So that's in the number 1 column. Place that guy right here, connecting the U1 music box to the connector piece. Next, we're going to need our whistle chip. So this is another new piece for us. I've never used it in one of these activities, and actually in the activities that I did previously to doing our STEM Sunday videos, I'd never used this piece either. So this is a really fun piece because it makes the circuit work based on vibration instead of by manual switching. So as we see with this activity, it's a really cool piece to get the circuit working and running. So we're going to place our whistle chip on A1. Doesn't matter which way it's oriented. I did it with the WC facing upwards, but again, that's just going to connect our number 6 connector with our music box here, U1. Right next to it, we're going to take a number 3 connector piece, again with the number 3 on it, and that's going to go right next to our whistle chip, row 2, connecting our music box to the number 6 connector piece. So that one right here, next to our whistle chip. Next, we're going to need another, and I think our last, number 3 connector. Here it is. And that's going to connect the middle of our alarm, U2, up to the number 6 connector piece. There we go, so we've snapped that one in right here. So we're going to take the middle snap of the alarm box and connect it straight up to the number 6 connector piece here. Next, we're going to connect our number 6 to our number 4 right on top with a small baby number 2 connector. So that snaps right in, bam, bam, right up here. So as you can see, the space that was previously a gap between our 2 big connector pieces is now connected with a number 2 piece here. So we're almost there. Like I said, there are a number of pieces we have to get set up, but we're almost done. So next, we're going to need 2 more number 2 connectors, and they're going to go from, might have to lean over a little bit, from under our speaker up to the number 4 connector piece. And then the other number 2 connector is going to go right next to it, connecting our switch to the number 4 connector. So those 2 pieces are shown right here. A little bit closer for you guys. So from right under the speaker, there's a snap up to the number 4, and same with our switch, up to the number 4. Now we need to connect our switch to our battery, and that's going to be another number 2 connector. So from the plus side of the battery up to the switch, snap, snap, right here. And I believe our last piece is our resistor. So this is R1, a bright yellow piece, and that's gonna go from the alarm to the speaker. Again, I'm gonna orient it just like it is in the book with the 100 ohm sign at the alarm, snapping right underneath that speaker. And I did miss one last connector piece, so I lied. We have one more connection we have to make, and that's with our last number 2, which will go between our music box and our alarm box. There we go. So, wow, lots of pieces here. Here's our last piece I just snapped in between our blue and red. Snapped right in here. So this is our completed circuit. Lots of pieces. As you can see, we don't have many left in the box. That's because they're all in here, but I think this should be a pretty cool activity. So like I said, the main fun piece about this circuit is that we're using the whistle chip. So the whistle chip operates based on vibration. So the point of this activity, project number 27, and the related projects underneath it are to be able to use clapping sounds or some sort of vibration or sound that will vibrate the thin piece of metal inside the whistle chip, and that will activate the circuit. So to start, we do have to switch the switch on. We're going to move that from off to on, and you are going to hear the noise and the sounds right off the bat just because we've initiated the flow of energy through the circuit. So ready? There's a little music and also an alarm sound, but it does stop. So we have the initial sound just from turning that switch on, but now using a clapping motion and sound should have to be a pretty big clap, I think, based on the instructions, and I did try this out too, so I don't think I have a strong enough clap to make this work. We are going to try it, but I do have a little tip and trick. If you can't make it work using the clapping noise, another way to activate the circuit without using touch, just using the sense of vibration, that will also make the circuit work. So let's see if we can get it to work using clapping. You might be able to get it working at home depending on your circuit. I think my whistle chip might be a little bit destroyed from carrying this around from place to place, but again, no worries. First we're going to try the clapping and then try plan B just in case. So let's try the clap, and we're going to want to orient this almost around the whistle chip section just because that's what's going to be activated by the clap. So let's try. One more big one. Yeah, I don't think I have the strong enough clap, but I did play around with this, and I know the instructions say that you can touch the whistle chip using like a pinching motion. I'll show you guys here. So just by touching the whistle chip, that does work, but I didn't think it was as fun because this activity is really based on using vibrations to activate the circuit instead of touch. So I figured you can, if you want, you can lift up the whole mat, the whole board, and just slightly, maybe an inch, that's all you need to do, and drop it on the table, and that vibration will activate the whistle chip and will do the same thing as clapping would. It's just using that clapping motion, that sound, to create sound waves, which will vibrate the piece of metal in the whistle chip. The same thing will happen by dropping it just from a shallow distance. It will get the whistle chip piece moving using the same thing, vibration, and those waves created by the drop. So as you can see, I've lifted it just a tiny bit, just so I can really get my fingers underneath. That's as much as you need to lift it. We're not lifting it up here. We don't want to break any of our pieces. But if you just lift it up a tiny bit, try that again. Maybe it wasn't high enough. It did work before, I promise. Here we go. Oh, maybe not. One more time. There we go. So that did take a few tries for it to work. When I tried it before, it worked on the first or second try. So I don't think that this is exactly how the activity is supposed to be done, but like I said, it does do the same thing and activate the circuit the same way clapping would. So that's our circuit for today, project number 27. I'm just going to give you a little bit of info if you wanted to do projects 28, 29, 30, or 31. So let me show that to you guys here. So these 4 down here all use the same setup that we created with a few changes. So as you can see up here, there are a few letters. I believe they're T, V, X, U, W, Y, and Z. So all of these up here, if you read through these, it's just going to have you move connector pieces from different places. So for example, project number 29 has you move the connection between X and Y. So you're going to take the connection from V and W, where we have it now, and shift it to the right, and then also move the connection between letters T and U. So it's very easy to change. It's just moving one connector piece to the left, to the right, depending on the project, and it's just going to give you different sounds, different noises, but all created by using this clapping motion. I will say though, if you do decide to do these projects, make sure that in between each, you turn the switch off. We don't want to be switching circuitry around while having our circuit technically still electrified and powered. So even if you do decide to move some of these connector pieces around to do these related projects, make sure that we have the switch turned off and then move your connections just to be safe. Again, it's just going to be different noises. You can read more about it. Hopefully you guys can get the clapping to work. This is how the project should be done. Maybe an idea would be to drop a book or something heavy near. Again, instead of dropping the whole circuit, I tried using this, but it wasn't heavy enough. So that might be something to try, dropping some sort of heavy object on the side where your whistle chip is. That will get those vibrations going to activate the whistle chip and activate the circuit. But a key, again, for all of these projects is to use that vibration energy and those waves created from vibrations, either by clapping, dropping the circuit, or dropping an object. That should work as well to get the whistle chip functioning and to get the circuit running. So I think there are a few fun activities that you can do. Again, just fun different noises and different sounds based on moving your pieces around like that. I'm going to turn my circuit off just for now, and feel free, like I said, to try these other activities. Let me know if you're able to get it working using clapping. I don't think I'm strong enough. I might have to work out some more in the gym to get these claps super strong. But I showed you a couple ways that you might be able to make up for the weak clap. So I'll see you guys next week in May. Holy moly, it's already May. So we'll have some more activities. I hope you guys enjoyed the Earth Month related activities this month, aside from our Snap Circuits activity. But otherwise, have fun on this Sunday, and I'll see you guys next week in May for another STEM Sundays with Emily episode. Enjoy, guys.